Hey guys, Ben from Never Ending Cycles. So I had a couple people suggest how the process works with buying a bike from me, which is a great question because that's typically the question I get when someone inquires about a bike that they saw that they liked, and then I tell them I can build one for them, and then it's obviously the first question is explain. So how does it work? So figured I'd just make a quick video on it. Behind me, you'll see a bike that's in progress. Got the seat for it, it's all fabricated, ready to start putting together. And so the process is this. So let's say you want a bike and you're not really sure what you're looking for, which is fine. I'll never tell you what to build, but I'll give you my suggestions and kind of based on, then you'll send me some photos of bikes you like and styles you like and things like that. And then from there, I can kind of attach that to a build that would suit that style. So primarily my builds are four-cycle, two-cylinder twin engines bikes. The reason I build a lot of those is because they're nimble, they're light, they're relatively inexpensive to maintain because there's only 2 carburetors versus 4 carburetors or 3 on a bigger bike. Exhaust systems, same thing. There's only 2 headers that go into 2 mufflers versus a lot of the bigger bikes have 4 headers, and it's just a lot more. And the bikes are heavier. So anyways, enough of that. So let's say you want a bike that is similar to one that I had posted a picture of. So I typically will then decide on, whether it's a Kawasaki, Honda, Yamaha, whatever bike we decide on. And then from there, I'll do a little research and find a donor bike. Donor bike simply means it's a bike that I'm going to buy that is someone else is getting rid of. We like to keep them under $1,000 if possible. If it's more than that, then I'll just adjust the end price of the build accordingly. And then I will have learned that just because the bike's more expensive doesn't mean it's in better shape. It just means they have more sentimental value attachment to it typically. In fact, the one I just picked up a couple days ago was probably the best conditioned bike of any that I picked up so far, and surprisingly almost the least expensive of anyone that I picked up. So it just depends on who has it, what they want to get rid of, and things like that. So we find the bike, we exchange some messages as far as like what you like. We can do a video phone conference or a phone conference as getting me some designs, some styles you like. Because from that point, from the first point we buy the bike to the time that I'm ready to build it, there's a decent amount of time in there that we can get all our designs and styles, and you can send me 100 pictures of things you like. We can talk about, do we want a custom seat? Do we want custom paint? Those types of things. What upgrades do we want? What parts do we need to order now so we can make sure when we start building the bike that it's ready? And then from there, most of the things that I need are the colors, like the tires, things that design the way we want to build it. And from that point, so once we decide this is the route we're going to go, I found a donor bike, I secured it, hopefully with the owner, and then we talk about deposits. So typically it's, you'll give me half down of the projected build price, give or take a little bit depending on some of the modifications we do, because sometimes I'll take a little bit more up front because I have to turn around and just buy those parts right away. And then from there, I buy the bike, I go pick it up, it becomes your property, I have the title, I keep the bike, and then we start buying parts, and as soon as we're ready to start assembling and tearing the bike down and getting assembly on it, then we take another deposit and we build it. And then it's ready to go in usually 6 to 8 weeks, depending on if there's any major things that have to be done to it. Most of the time, the donor bikes are pretty good. Or if you wanted to do like a custom, like the Gixxer front end that I've done on a couple bikes, which is taking a Suzuki GSXR, kind of a crotch rocket sport bike, and putting that front end on an old bike, takes some lead time with parts to do that. But Barring all that, and if you just want this, what we call the standard build, which is just taking, you know, the old bike and repurposing and resto modding it to the new style, that's usually a 6 to 8 week build process once we start building it. So, nutshell, wrap it up real quick. I try to make quick videos, but it's impossible. I ramble on. The nutshell is, you decide you want a bike. We get some styles. We buy the donor bike based on what we think the end result you want is going to be, what is best fitting. If you want a street bike only and you want it to be fast, then we go with 4-cylinder, or you know, something bigger like a 750. If you want a cruise around everyday off-road, on-road kind of bike that you can just have a good time with, and it's light and nimble, we go with a 2-cylinder. You know, in a Honda CB350 or a 360 or a KZ400 or a 500, maybe a 650 at the biggest. Okay, figured out the bike, we talk numbers, we agree on a number, I take a deposit, we buy the bike, I take care of it, I take, you know, possession of all of that, you don't have to do anything, and then we start talking about what the details are, and from there I put my design brain to work and I build you a bike. And what's fun about it is that you get to basically have a custom bike built that you get to put your touches on, and I get to learn a little bit about you, and I get to put some personal touches on it. For example, the guy that I just sold the bike to in California was a Special Forces officer, and I found a Special Forces crest and I put it on the tank right behind it. He didn't even know it was there. I was surprised he didn't see it until I delivered the bike, and you know, he thought that was really, really cool. And so I try to find something individual with every bike I do. This isn't pimp my ride. I'm not putting a popcorn maker in the trunk, nothing like that. We want it to be functional but just subtle and cool. Like, it's your bike. It definitely has your stamp on it. So yeah, think about a custom bike that you have some a pretty significant amount of say in how it's built. So that's a little ditty about how we do it, and I still have some space for some winter builds, so you can be riding in the spring. So don't hesitate, because they are. I have another guy that I'm chatting with hopefully today, and so those spaces are filling up, and we can talk numbers and we can build you a bike. All right. I hope you guys have a great Sunday, and we'll talk soon.